All right, so I am in the Solving Rational Equations workspace of Mathia, and I'm going to start with a simple problem. You may run into one that looks similar to this. And the first thing they're always going to want you to do is define what the variable cannot be. So this is where we're looking at the denominator, what value of a variable, in this case j, would make the denominator 0. So we're asking ourselves j minus 1. So what minus 1 would be 0? That value would be 1. So I'm going to add a value, enter in 1. And since that's the only variable in my denominator, that's the only value that doesn't exist, I can select no more values. So what the program's going to do now, it's going to take your equation and put it into the equation solver over here. And you are presented with a menu of options. So we have ways to rewrite the expressions. We have equation transformations. So once I've eliminated my denominators, I can then use this to solve my equations. And then there are a couple other actions. So it's going to be, there's going to be a little learning curve. You're going to have to mess around with this a little bit and get to know what each one of these actions really stands for if you don't already. And it's okay to make a mistake and keep learning, and that is why this program helps you understand what you're actually doing when you're solving these rational equations here. So in this equation, I've noticed that both sides, there's no addition or subtraction of fractions of rational expressions happening. I have one rational expression on either side. So right away, I want to go to cross multiply. So let's see if it allows us to cross multiply. It does, okay? And it actually does it for you. So it multiplied the 1 times the 4j plus 6, and then the negative 5 times the j minus 1. So now if you notice anything where you need to distribute, you're going to have to now select, here's distribute over here, to distribute that negative 5. And again, that will do that for you as long as there's only one part of this equation that can be distributed. It assumes that's what you are going for. So that negative 5 was distributed. So now I'm going to go through my equation transformation options to solve this equation. So there are 4 ways to do this, right? I can move any one of these terms. So in particular, I'm going to move this 5j first because I know by doing that, I'm going to end up with a positive coefficient on j. So the way I'm going to move this is a negative 5j. So I'm going to need to add to both sides. And when I do that, it's already adding for you. So all you have to type in there is the 5j. You don't need to put the sign on it. So it added 5j's to both sides, and I end up with 9j plus 6 equals 5. So now I need to balance this equation. So I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides. And again, you don't need to write minus 6. It already enters the sign for you. So I'm just subtracting 6. And now my last step, I need to eliminate that 9. I'm going to divide both sides by 9. And there is our answer. So over here on the left-hand side, it says, is negative 1/9 the solution to the original equation? Yes, it is. I could substitute and verify. And then it just wants you to type in j equals negative 1/9. So use this and my other videos to help guide yourself through this workspace.